Negotiation is used in business when two parties need to reach an agreement that is acceptable with both. It is not necessarily about winning, as it is likely to involve compromise. Good negotiating is about both sides feeling they have achieved what they wanted. Negotiations may be either disruptive, where the aim is to beat the opposition and win, or integrative, where both parties recognise the need to reach a mutually acceptable agreement. In the context of business, negotiation is used in contracting, buying, selling, staffing, and financing. There are 5 basic styles of negotiator. Although your negotiation style will largely depend on your personality, the styles can be adopted tactically during negotiations to achieve your outcome. The first is competitor. This is someone that is assertive, uncooperative, and out to win. This can damage the relationship with the other party. Collaborator. Again, this negotiator would be assertive, but willing to find common ground. They would be cooperative and good at retaining good relationships with the other party. Compromiser. This is another assertive negotiation style that is also cooperative. It aims to meet the other party halfway. Pleaser. This is an unassertive style of negotiation that is overly cooperative and gives in too easily to demands. Finally, we have the avoider. This type of negotiation is where someone is unwilling to contribute or make a decision. They will become uncooperative and unassertive. There are 3 key main skills that a negotiator must have to be successful. They are communication, flexibility, and objectiveness. We will now go through these in a little more detail. Communication skills are both verbal and non-verbal. They involve tact. In other words, you should choose your words carefully when negotiating. You should not give away too much information. And you should practice active listening in order to develop your communication skills. A good communicator will avoid jargon and technical expressions wherever possible. Flexibility. This is the ability to receive and act on an offer you may not have previously considered. This is easier in written negotiations where there is more time to consider the offer. Being objective. This is to consider options without emotion and to make sure that you keep focused on the intended outcome. Both are key to successful negotiation. Being a good or active listener ensures the exchange of information between the speaker and the listener is correctly understood. In order to show and actively listen, you should make eye contact. Pay attention to the words, expressions, and body language of the speaker. Use positive body language to express your continued concentration. Use encouraging phrases such as "I see" or "go on." Do not interrupt. Allow the speaker to finish. Give the person your complete attention. Summarize the discussion to bring the conversation to a close. There are 5 key ways to confirm your understanding. Confirming understanding is the most important thing in negotiation, as you need to be sure where everyone is and what has been agreed. The first way is paraphrasing. This means that the listener restates the message in his or her own words. The second is clarifying. This means the listener reviews their understanding by asking for clarity. Probing. This is in order that the listener may obtain more information by asking open and closed questions. Verifying. This means checking your understanding by asking things like, "Do you mean?" or "Is this correct?" Summarising. This is briefly stating the key points of the discussion at its close. All body language also conveys a message, either negative or positive, about the way a person is feeling and their attitude to what is being said. Things you should look out for are posture, gestures, facial expressions. You should be aware of the messages your body language gives and read those of others. Negotiation requires confidence, and this only comes with practice. Even those experienced in negotiation skills will rehearse what they are going to say and even rehearse what they were likely to get in response. There are 3 ways you can increase your confidence: preparation, practice, and rehearsal. Part 2. Conducting negotiations. There are 3 main stages in negotiation: preparing, conducting, and completing. We will now go through each of these. Any negotiation, be it for a serious topic such as a pay increase, or for something as simple as just to get away early from work, requires that you prepare your case. You should set out your objectives and decide on the minimum you are prepared to accept and the maximum you are prepared to concede. You need to be absolutely clear about the limits of your authority in what you are able to agree, and gather as much relevant information as possible about the issues in question. You must make sure your information is reliable in order for it to be useful in negotiation. When conducting negotiations, this will either be done as an individual or as part of a team, and the common methods include over the phone, in writing, or face-to-face. Each has their own advantages and disadvantages. For example, written negotiations may take longer, but allow more time for consideration of offers. The telephone is useful for quick, simple decisions and, while there is no opportunity to read body language, tone of voice becomes important. Face-to-face negotiations provide more opportunity for discussion and bargaining, but they increase the risk of being pressured into an agreement. If you are negotiating as part of a team, it is important that everyone knows the role they have, the objective to be agreed, the best and least favourable agreement to be reached, and each individual's limits of authority. Some additional preparing tactics for negotiations are to note everything that you want to achieve. Consider what the person you are negotiating with is likely to say in response. Note how you in turn will respond to their argument and decide on your best alternative. Any negotiation should be backed, where possible, with accurate facts and figures, making your case stronger and easier to defend. During the negotiation, there will be 5 key stages. The opening statement or bid. This should always start at the maximum you hope to achieve. Discussion. Be prepared to back any arguments with facts. Listen to and note down the other party's points. A counter bid. This is where the other party states what is acceptable to them, where you may make an offer for less than your starting bid. Compromise. This is where you will agree a compromise between your opening bid and the counter bid. And finally, agreement. In many cases, not everything you want to achieve can be achieved. The other party may have a good reason for their stance, and this is important to consider. Always consider the argument they are putting forward and do not automatically refuse their suggestions. Think before you respond to any suggestion made by the other party. They could be suggesting an alternative that is acceptable. Disagreeing automatically can occur in negotiation when you haven't prepared or when you automatically think argument is necessary. This can cause the negotiations to stall. During the negotiation, do not criticize or argue. Always think before you speak. Stick to the facts. Listen to what is being said. Stay calm. Don't be afraid to suggest the alternative solution. Offer a concession if appropriate. Don't be afraid to walk away if necessary. There are three possible outcomes to negotiation. Win-win. This is the best outcome, with both parties feeling that they have achieved at least their minimum goals. Win-lose, where one party goes away happy with the outcome but the other does not. Lose-lose, when neither party achieves a satisfactory outcome. Achieve the best possible outcome whilst retaining or improving the relationship with the other party. This must be the key focus in a negotiation. Once a conclusion has been reached, all that has been agreed should be recorded in writing and ideally signed by both parties so that there can be no uncertainties or ambiguities later.